All right, welcome back to the Virtue Bowling Supply YouTube channel. My name is Chris.
And my name is Josh.
All right, today we're gonna be taking a look and bringing you guys the high rev and low rev perspective on the brand new Columbia 300 Pulse. And I'm gonna be comparing that to the Rotagrip Rockstar and the Hammer Anger Solid.
And I'll be comparing it to the Ethos Solid and the Turbo X. Today we are here at Bolero Violinda on a typical house pattern. That lane graph will pop up here. At the end, we will give our honest, unbiased review anywhere from nuts to trash. So make sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you out on the lanes.
I just wrapped up throwing the brand new Columbia 300 Pulse. Personally, I really like this one. It kind of forced me to be a little bit further right and a little bit more forward overall. It didn't really want to change direction as much as I may have kind of thought it was going to. It definitely fits in that kind of medium smooth category. Can't really shape the ball as much, so playing a little bit further right and a little bit more direct looked pretty good with this one. Even if I kind of like up it a little bit, it never really wanted to kind of jump off of it and be super quick. So I actually really like this one. So now I'm gonna go ahead and throw the Rockstar and see how that compares. All right, now the Rockstar fits in the same kind of like category as the Pulse does. I do think that it is a little bit more down lane and a little bit more angular than the Pulse. The Pulse I really had to kind of move a little bit further right and be a little bit more in front of me. The Rockstar I could kind of get left with a little bit less ball speed though, just to kind of make sure it came off the spot. But overall, I wanted to retain a little bit more energy than the Pulse did. So now I'm gonna go ahead and throw the Hammer Anger Solid and see how that compares. Now the Anger Solid is definitely in the same boat as the Rockstar. It definitely retained a little bit more energy than the Pulse. Kind of something you can shape a little bit more. The Pulse wanted to be a little bit straighter. The Anger you can kind of cheat it left a little bit just because you're going to get that friction response and it's going to come off when you get it there. The Pulse just wanted to be a little bit more rounded and a little bit more forward, so you couldn't really shape it quite as much. All right, final thoughts on the brand new Pulse. This one I actually really enjoyed. I liked how predictable it was. I knew what I was gonna get when I was throwing it. Honestly, bowling balls that kind of allow me to play a little straighter, a little bit more firm, without it being super overreacting to friction. I actually really like. I feel like I can be a little bit more consistent that way. So this one I really enjoyed. With that being said, I'm gonna have to put it in fire. I think it's just gonna be something that I can kind of go to even when it's a little shorter or even long patterns. Whenever I feel like, even when the pattern gets a little bit cliffed, I can kind of still move into it and kind of use the friction because I know this one's not gonna like hockey stick off of it, so.
Just through 10 shots with the new Columbia 300 Pulse. This ball for me, I did not really like seeing it go down the lane. They were starting to get a little cliffy and touchy at this point, but I still feel like this ball just was really confusing to my eye. I felt like when I played a little straighter and kept the angles a little bit more closed, it hooked really early. It felt like the core or the cover stock was just really big. But then the moment I tried to move a little in and kind of shape it and get it to the friction spot down lane, it just never hooked. It was really confusing because, like I said, I felt like I could get in and be soft with it, and in theory, I felt like it would get off spot, but in reality, it just did not want to hook. And it was just one of those balls where I didn't really know where I needed to get it to down lane because I really never found a spot that I was comfortable and really could predict the ball motion coming off spot for me. I would put it in that, benchmark-ish type ball, but a hair more forward, but again, just not the shape I really want to see out of a bowling ball for me. So now we're gonna go ahead and throw 5 shots with the Brunswick Ethos Solid and see how it compares. Just threw 5 shots with the Brunswick Ethos Solid. This ball fits in a similar part of the bag as the Pulse, but for me it was just a little bit more lane shined, got a little bit more down lane, and was more forward off spot. Just wasn't as quick or as jerky, and I feel like that actually helped because I was able to get it to the friction and not have it really want to jump really hard off spot like the Pulse did. But I could also get in a little slow and still allowed it to actually be clean enough to get off spot where the Pulse never had a chance in that part of the lane. So now we're gonna go ahead and throw the Turbo X and see how it compares. Just threw 5 shots with the Turbo X. This ball, in a similar way to the Ethos, was cleaner than the Pulse, but was quicker off spot than the Ethos, and relative to the Pulse, also quicker. Like I said, I felt like it was a little bit sharper, more true of like a benchmark ball for me, and it gave me a better reaction than the Pulse for sure. I felt like naturally here at V-Linda, they typically feel like they play long, but somehow you still have to shape it, which normally those don't collide, but this ball I feel like is one of those balls where it actually accomplishes that, where I can be a little, steeper through the fronts and still allow it to actually shape off the end of the pattern without it burning up too early. Final thoughts on the Columbia 300 Pulse. For me, I just felt like this ball really was unclear of a shape for me. I felt like it was just really hard to kind of see where it wanted to hook. And because of that, again, I just didn't really get comfortable with it because I didn't really know exactly where to throw it. It either hooked too much or didn't hook enough, and that's never really a good ball motion. It didn't really want to blend the lane whatsoever for me. So with that being said, final rating for this one for me is going to have to be a potato. I wasn't the worst ball I've thrown on camera, but it definitely wasn't great for me. I just, again, did not feel like I had any sort of room with this ball, and it just really made me feel trapped.
Thank you guys so much for watching. If you found this video useful, make sure you like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next one.